Hi, this is Bigdog with impromptu card tricks for seniors and social commentary. You know, many of my subscribers have been asking me to review a basic card maneuver, the double lift, as well as asking me if I would comment on the upcoming presidential election. Well, of course I will. The double lift is important since it really is an integral part of your card handling repertoire. And of course, we're all interested in the upcoming November election. As a reminder to the seniors out there, the upcoming election is pitting incumbent President Donald Trump and challenger former Vice President Joseph Biden. No matter who wins, he will be by far the oldest president we've ever elected. Go seniors. At stake, of course, is the soul of America and our governing principle of separation of powers. The real question is, do we want to bring back a pathological narcissist for another 4 years? In spite of his mishandling of the COVID-19 pandemic and his racist reaction to the Black Lives Matter BLM protests, you know, he still thinks that's the Bureau of Land Management. He still has a solid chance of being reelected. In my view, we can jump ahead to the day after the election. President Trump will be holding a news conference, and he will make one of 3 announcements. The first one could go something like this: I've called Joe Biden and conceded the election and congratulated him on his victory. I respect the decision of the voters of America and will work my hardest to provide an orderly transition of the government functions to the Biden administration. The second pronouncement could go something like this: I humbly acknowledge your overwhelming endorsement of my agenda for America and welcome you to attend my coronation on January 12th. I promise to be the most incredible King of America ever. I pledge to continue the character assassination of anyone who disagrees with me, and in that vein, I'll be working with Mitch McConnell to abridge the First Amendment freedom of the press rights so that we don't have to listen to fake news any longer. If it's fake news, then it's not covered by the First Amendment, right? I would also like to announce the retirement of Dr. Anthony Fauci, as well as the end of all virus testing, and I am proclaiming the COVID-19 pandemic is over. It turns out that those 180,000 deaths that were attributed to COVID-19 were actually a result of a nasty strain of chlamydia. The third pronouncement could go something like this: in the face of the historic and massive fraud associated with the mail-in ballots in the general election, I am reluctantly vacating the results and declaring a national emergency. During this extraordinary time, I've been asked by some people to remain in the presidency. I will work to reschedule the national election as quickly as we can ensure a safe and predictable election. God bless America, and who's your favorite president now, motherfuckers? Now I know what you're thinking. Bigdog. That's a pretty disturbing forecast, and which outcome do you think is most likely? And are you going to show us that double lift or what? Well, it is disturbing, and of course I'm going to show you that double lift. But first things first, I'm thinking we're heading down the path to the third scenario. Now let's take a look at that double lift.
The double lift is an illusion where you are turning over 2 cards in the deck, but it appears that you're only turning over 1. It can be used in a trick such as this. Well, the top card here is the 7 of spades. If I take the 7 of spades and I move it to the middle of the deck here, and if I tap the deck 3 times, then the 7 of spades, it comes back to the top. Now there's a corollary to this, and that is, if you don't tap the deck 3 times, then it doesn't work. For example, we have the King of Hearts. If we take the King of Hearts and we bury it in the middle here, let's say we only tap the deck twice, well then it doesn't work. The king doesn't come back up to the top until we tap it 3 times. And then it does. That is a demonstration of using the double lift. Click on the video link and see a tutorial on the best way to perform the double lift.
Well, as you can see from that double lift, sleight of hand and misdirection are important in card tricks as well as politics. So as we examine the political landscape in our run-up to the election, there are a lot of stumbling blocks. Not only is the pandemic raging out of control, we have a struggling economy, and the escalating protests. Trump has assembled his private army from tactical units from Homeland Security, ICE, BORTAC, and the federal marshals to protect federal property and overreact and provoke protesters. I do have some excellent news about his private police force. One of the many complaints was that they had unmarked vehicles and their riot gear didn't have any identifying insignia, names, or organizations on them. Well, I just found out that there will be an announcement that this private police force has been assigned a name and will have matching riot gear and an identifying insignia. I understand it was Jared Kushner that came up with the idea. This private police force will now be known as the Trump Heroes in United Government Service. And their insignia will look like this.
Well, this is the insignia that they came up with. You'll see the name up here is the Trump Heroes United in Government Service. They'll be known as the Thugs, of course. And the insignia that they came up with, I think, will really catch the eye of the protesters out there. Thanks so much, Jared.
As election time nears, you need to ask yourself these questions. First of all, if a statue of a Confederate general is pulled down and nobody gives a shit that it's gone, did it make a sound when it hit the ground? Second, since the Republicans are amassing 50,000 people to act as election day poll watchers in 14 key states, will I be able to get one of them to help me fill out my ballot when I get to the polls? Third, if the thugs are able to pull double duty and help out as poll watchers, will they be in full riot gear? Fourth, since Trump is sending the thugs to overreact and tear gas the wall of moms only in cities with a liberal Democratic mayor, do I have time to recall the mayor before they get here? And finally, if I make 400 copies of my absentee ballot and mail them all in at the same time, will anybody notice? This is Bigdog with impromptu card tricks for seniors and some social commentary. Click on the video links below for a tutorial on the double lift, an update on the Portland protests, and comments by President Trump. Thanks for watching my video, and thanks for running with the Big Dog.